The Mijusuima, a creature that grows up in a pack, full of its sibling and parents. Though one Mijusuima is not as lucky to have a pack. Today we follow a young female Mijusuima who is lost in this great world of Sonaria. Will this Mijusuima survive? A young Mijusuima wakes up to find that her parents are gone. She looks around, but nothing of life seems to be clear. She was born during spring. Then she remembered. A Karathas came and killed her parents while she was still hatching. A small bird-like creature was laying outside the den, so she snuck up on it using her invisibility powers. She was hungry. She needed food. She struck 3 blows onto the creature before it flew away, and it was much faster than her. We shall call this young Mijusuima Zentea. Zentea made her way around the area, searching for any life forms that are edible. Then she spotted water. Water is what Mijusuimas love. Since they are semi-aquatic, they need water to survive, and not just for drinking. Young Mijusuimas need water constantly, otherwise their fur will dry out, and it'll make them very sick. After drinking some water, the Mijusuima decided to head out of the little cave. She must find food, and fast. Because she is small and tiny, she will need food quickly, unlike big Mijusuimas, which can survive long times without food. She ran her little legs as fast as she could all the way to a nearby lake that she sensed. Due to their invisibility power, it makes it easier for Mijusuimas to sneak up on prey, though if they sprint or attack while in the invisible form, it will wear off instantly. The Mijusuima watched the water below her in the ocean. A giant fish leapt out of the water, startling her. But then, while she was drinking water, something dangerous was lurking nearby. She ran over to some food, but while she was doing that, suddenly, a creature leapt out of the water. It was exactly like her. It was another Mijusuima. They looked friendly, for now, until they attacked her. She attacked them back and ran for her life, quickly turning invisible. It was obvious that this Mijusuima did not want her around. This can happen sometimes, as Mijusuimas will fight each other for food and resources, unless they are very good friends in a pack. While in her invisibility form, she ate some of the food that was nearby. She was happy to have food finally. A tail in the water. A fish was nearby. She should stay away from the water, as fish can leap out and attack her. The other Mijusuima seemed to be attacking a small bird in the distance. It chased her again, but she turned invisible before it spotted her. Now, she needed to go somewhere. She needed to leave this island. She needed to go somewhere where she'd be safe. Like the desert. The desert can seem safe at first, but it's very dangerous. The sun will dry out the youngster's skin very easily. Something in the distance caught her eye. It might have been the oasis that she saw, but there was also something else. An adult Mijusuima walking towards her. She carefully watched it, just in case something would attack her, specifically this Mijusuima. But it didn't even see her, it just left. After making sure that the Mijusuima had left, she made her way towards the lovely water that was nearby. She needed water. Her skin was dry and hot from the desert sun. As she came towards the water, she realized that she was also hungry. So, after drinking some water, she tried to look for food. There was a small carcass nearby, but this carcass did not have food. though she made sure to check, just in case there was a small bit of meat there. As Zentea realized there was no food, she decided to leave, so she could find more food in another place. She was also very tired, though her hunger made her keep pushing on for more food. But she was too tired. An hour later, she woke up. She was hungry and needed food now. Zentea left the safety of the oasis. Her hunger was growing fast, but in the distance, something caught her eye again. It was another adult Mijusuima, though it looked a bit different. She tried to catch its attention, but it quickly hopped into water and swam away. Zentea avoided the water and just hopped over a bridge to take a closer look. The adult was bleeding as though it had been attacked. This worried Zentea, so she made her way towards the Mesa oasis. There could be food here. And there was. She used her scent to find some food and eat it. Afterwards, she came for a drink out of the water, though soon something would change. Zentea spotted a small creature in the water, so she went in again. Though the creature had disappeared quickly, so she decided to have a swim, though this would be a crucial mistake. She swam around in the water, feeling freedom. She made her way out into a large open area where the adult Mijusuima would be, but she could not see it. The ground shook. Something was nearby. Zentea did not notice, though. Soon she'd be in danger. The volcano had erupted. She was now in crucial danger. Though she was underwater, nothing could touch her. She did not know that. She panicked, swimming around in all directions. She tried to fit through a small hole to see if she could get to safety, but she was too big. She didn't know that she was safe underwater, so she panicked and continued to swim through the water. She swam for her life. It is hard for Mijusuimas to survive. Zentea knew that something was not right. But as she neared the surface, something changed. She swam and swam and swam for her life. She took a quick turn left to see if she could find shelter. Though, as she neared the end, something happened. She grew to her teenage form. She was still panicked though, and decided to go up to the surface. She ran to the surface for safety, but this was a mistake. Meteors landed next to her, left, right, and center. She needed to find shelter. She tried to fit under a small cliff, but she was too big. A meteor landed on her tail, striking her. She needed to escape fast into the water. The water was safety. She ran towards the water, seeing if she could get underneath. And finally, she made it. She woke up to the sound of crickets. The meteors were now gone. She was safe again. She felt tired, hurt. She was slowly bleeding. But she pushed on. She got up and went to the shore. Zentea was badly hurt by the meteors. One had crushed her tail. Though, she slowly healed. There was no shelter for her except the water. She knew that she must leave to find more resources. After having some food, she made her way up to the mountains. It was cold up here, and she now needed water fast. Cold or hot were both too much for Zentea. Her teenage form was much stronger than when she was as a youngster, but still, even as an adult or a teenager, she was still in danger of freezing to death. She must search for water, as it was too dry and cold for her. Though, she sensed some water nearby and rushed to see if she could find it. Her feet were sore from all the running, and she had to slow down. Could she ever find her way through this world? To complete her life cycle, she must make it back to her original home. And by the time she'd make it there, she'd be fully grown. There was water nearby. She sensed it. She made her way to the water. And right next to the water was a pile of food that she could eat from. She sprinted towards the water, finally happy to have something. Without water, she would never survive. After refilling her energy, she had to make a decision. She could either walk the rest of the way to her destination, or she could use the water. The water was the best option, since it would provide some safety for her. The fresh, cool water would help her heal the scars she had from the meteors during the eruption. She swam for hours through the water, searching for somewhere safe. Finally, after hours of swimming, she reached the shore. There was a destination she must go to before the Flower Cove. She must make it to the center of Sonaria. There, at the center, she could possibly find her own species. Mijusuimas will hang out anywhere near water and then migrate to the next water pool. Spring quickly arrived as she made her way to the center. She had an instinct to go there. All Mijusuimas had the instinct to migrate and go to the center before coming back to their original home. She had finally made it. She had made it to the center. Though, something would surprise her here. There were other Mijusuimas here nearby, though they were invisible. You could sense this. As these Mijusuimas did not turn invisible, she felt as they were afraid of her. Though, while she was making her way out of there, something happened. She grew to her adult form. She was much older and stronger now, but she also felt weaker at the same time. She felt a bit hungry, or a bit sad, or a bit lonely. She dived into the ocean and made her way towards the jungle island. There was another area there, where Mijusuimas would meet up sometimes. She must go there. Depression would rise in her if she does not find anyone to be friends with. As she made her way towards the island, she could hear noises. Recognizable noises. She saw other creatures, but more importantly, other Mijusuimas. There was about 3 there. One of them turned invisible, and she also did as well. She wanted to make sure that these Mijusuimas were actually friendly. A few trails of blood were left on the floor. She wondered where they came from. Zentea walked up to the water and had a drink. Surprisingly, the water was fresh, despite so many creatures being here. She saw 2 other Mijusuimas. One looked familiar. Could it be the one from before that she saw when she was still a youngster? She decided to follow them, as they seemed friendly. She also had a meal with them. One of them was blue, and the other looked like her. Though she was tired, she felt as if she was growing weaker. She came over to the water to rinse her mouth, and then go to bed. Though, something felt wrong. As she came to lay down, she heard noises. It was the sound of a breath spammer. Breath spammers are things that fly in the sky and spam breath, aka like fire and stuff. She turned invisible to hide from the breath spammers. A Ventrox swooped past her. She quickly came on invisible and tried to scare it away. But through the fog, she saw something that would terrify her. A full-grown Korathus. She hated this being, as they had killed her parents. She wanted to defeat it, she wanted to fight it, but she knew that this being was dangerous, and couldn't be trusted with anything. The Korathus only seemed to be drinking, so she drank something as well. Though, then she saw the Korathus tried to hit a small bird thing with its tail. She turned herself invisible, as 2 breath spammers above her fought each other. She had came and found what she needed, but now she must leave. She must leave to a new island, one that was deserted of life. As morning came, it became clear of what island she had come to. She had come to Volcano Island. Hopefully the eruption wouldn't happen again and kill her. She must quickly make it back to her home, as though she knew she was near. Though she was getting weaker for some reason, she did not feel the energy she had had when she was a youngster. Is this what would happen when you're older? She searched the island until she found the pathway that led back to her home, back to Flower Cove. She must act quickly. She must find her home and rest there, as though her energy was draining fast. Something was happening. Her energy had nearly already drained. She ate some food, though this would be the last food she'd eat normally. She drank some water too, but she had a sick feeling that she knows what's going to happen. This was the end of her life cycle. Normally, when Mijusuimas survive in packs, they can at least get to 200 years of age. But since the eruption, she has felt sick. Her energy had been drained. And since there was no one here to help her, she must pray that her eggs will hatch and survive. She came back to a familiar place, where she had first awoken, realizing her parents had been gone. A creature was nearby. She made sure to keep an eye on it while she made her nest. When she was finished making the nest, she attacked the creature nearby. She mustn't let it go near the eggs. When she came back to her eggs, something came upon her. The day she had woke up to find her parents missing. The day of when the eruption happened. Also, the day that she grew. The day she found friends that helped her out of her depression. And all these memories gave her a small bit of glimmer. As she woke up, she felt her strength come back. She was a glimmer. Glimmers were a rare mutation that can happen to an adult species of any kind. The glimmer could help her reach age 200 and live out a longer lifespan. This was Zentea's story. This was the day she became powerful.